for Michigan Department of Transportation, Kelby Wallace. Kelby, good to see you again.
Good afternoon, Bart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I didn't think I'd see you till next year. But that's good news because you have projects that are that have just wrapped up or are almost all wrapped up. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, so we call them, we've kind of pretty much substantially completed and kind of open back up to traffic.
I didn't think you were going to make it. In fact, I purposely avoided that area because I didn't want to see it if you didn't make it, but you did.
Yep, we opened Cooper Street like last, I think Monday or Tuesday in downtown Jackson. It's open to traffic. We do have some drums out there for some things we got to finish up on some of the guardrail. We will have some sidewalk, and we'll have to plant grass in the spring, and we'll have to come back and do permanent pavement markings, all that stuff that's really weather dependent. And right now it just doesn't make sense to try to do some of those things in this really poor weather because it won't last.
Yeah, you can't plant grass in December in Michigan.
No.
No.
Doesn't grow. It's kind of a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is going to be noticeable for people driving across it. It's wider, for one
Correct.
thing.
Yep, we've got pedestrian facilities on both sides, and actually on the west side, we've got the 10-foot wide non-motorized pathway that connects into the city's network, and the lanes across there. We've got lanes open northbound and southbound for the bridge right now. Like I said, we'll probably have cones and barrels on it till well into the new year, past the new year, until we're able out there to finish some of the guardrail stuff that we got to finish up.
Yeah, and they're not going to impede traffic in every way. All the lanes are open all directions.
Yeah.
And then last week you had to shut down I-94 for I think a whole day.
All night, right? We kind of do it at night when the traffic volumes are much lower, and we kind of had to wait till we got a night that didn't have snow or ice or rain. So we ended up having to push that till last Thursday at the Airport Road Bridge over I-94, and we actually finished that project that night, opened it up to traffic Friday morning. So that's just in time for the last minute holiday shoppers out there at the Airport Road Meyer and the Blaine's Farm and Fleet and Sam's Club down there. That kind of opened up that corridor, and just in time.
So that's all done there?
Correct.
All done. I avoided the area.
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did. I appreciate everyone's patience out there. But again, that one was one that was hit by a vehicle down below. Somebody hit it with a load that was too tall, damaged 7 beams that we had to replace. And you can't just go buy these beams at Home Depot, if you could imagine. They're not available.
Yeah.
So they have to be forged and manufactured, and then they have to actually be fabricated to the exact specifications and dimensions to fit in there. And that takes quite a bit of time when there's bridge projects all across the state, and there's not a lot of these manufacturers and fabricators out there. So it was back in, I believe, in April or May when this first happened, and so we did as much as we could to do that very, very fast. So
wow.
I appreciate all the folks that are in my office that worked on that project, and our designers in Lansing, and a lot of people really pitched in to try to get this open as soon as we could.
Well, for someone that caused that, it's just mind-boggling that they don't know how high their vehicle is, that they could hit a bridge. And I've driven a truck, and you as well. It looks like you're much higher than you are. Yeah. You think it's going to hit you at eye level. Obviously, it's not. But to even be that close, you got to know. How do they not know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things they teach commercial truck drivers is you do your pre-trip inspection, right? You walk around all your blinkers and your brake lights and your brakes and all your tie downs are all done. It's kind of a, check once, check twice. And I think sometimes people may get in a hurry or something may malfunction, and then it ends up coming loose. And we see that a lot. Stuff comes loose during the trip.
So you see, like in a parking deck, they'll have like a rubber thing hanging down. This is
right.
Is that not practical to put on low bridges on the highway?
I haven't seen it in other states. I think it's it's another structure that would have to be built and paid for and maintained on the highway to hang something safely, that was as high as a bridge all the way across the lanes. And so, we do, go recover the funds from people who do stuff like this, either through them directly or their insurance company. And so I think that, doesn't end up costing the taxpayers money to make these repairs. And so that's
Make them pay. Make them pay, Kelby. All right, now let's talk about next year. You're already plotting your next big project, and it's in downtown Jackson again.
Yeah, so we're going to be replacing one of the bridge decks of another bridge on Lewis Glick over there near Grand River Brewery, and where the farmers market stand is over there. The Grand River runs under Lewis Glick, which is I-94 BL. This one is not as intensive as the Cooper Street Bridge replacement because we're not replacing the foundation of the footings. We're basically starting at the beams, and we're just removing everything on top of the beams. The beams will stay. So this project takes a lot less time, but we're also doing it half at a time. It's not a full closure, which kind of slows it down. But we're going to be maintaining westbound all the time. So westbound Louis Glick will never be impacted. Eastbound will be detoured, and we'll run eastbound Louis Glick onto Washington Ave, kind of around the
way
south.
It used to
the
be
way
when
it used to be, right? The old one-way pair around town. So you'll go around that way, and then you'll take your left on Cooper when you get to Cooper, and you go back up to Louis Glick or Michigan Avenue East, depending on where you're headed. So
yeah, that's going to be a much easier detour, and I think everyone will be a lot more comfortable with it because of the history.
Yep, and it'll be a little bit quicker. We won't go into late winter next year. We would expect that to be done in probably mid-fall, early fall, because we aren't digging down into the earth to rebuild the entire foundation of the bridge like we were at Cooper. So a little bit less intensive work.
Well, so far it has not been a mild winter, so frozen earth is probably going to happen, if not already, maybe sooner.
Yeah, I think in the past week or two, you really start to see some of the roads really show their age and disrepair because the potholes, the freezing ground underneath kind of heaves stuff up, the cracks get bigger, and then we're already had these freeze-thaw cycles last week with that slush and rain, and then it froze hard. So right now our maintenance crews have been really working hard out on the roads, using a lot of salt, unfortunately, to kind of keep things plowed and safe. But it is that time of year where people need to just slow down a little bit. It's a lot quicker to slow down than it is to end up in the ditch. I know you and I have talked about that. So
yeah, if you're going to be late for an appointment or a holiday party, it's much better to be 5 minutes late than 3 hours because you're waiting for the tow truck. Great to have you coming in with the updates today. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thanks. We'll see you probably before the next big project, which starts in March.
Yes, sir.
Jackson TSC Manager at MDOT, Kelby Wallace. More to come.